Look at these awesome morels, and they are going a little bit dry. And because they're going dry, it makes them 100% acceptable to harvest. And they're all these are bigger than 2 inches.
We do forays. Obviously, we take people out and go hunting for mushrooms. We also do lectures.
That's all you have to do to contribute to scientific research around the world, and all of the biologists will thank you.
Aimee found these ones right over here.
Good job. Those are fat.
Yeah.
Those are as big as your hand.
Yeah. I'm Blaine Washburn with another episode of Utah Mushroom Hunter, and I just can't help myself. I decided to go out one more time and see if I can find some morels. So maybe this will be my last morel hunt. So I'm actually hoping to meet up with Tyler Hacking. He actually is the one who kind of prodded me to do this. He sent me a text saying, hey, do you want to go out again? And I'm like, oh, okay, let's go out again. You know, I just love coming up here and looking so much. I need to get to the Gyromitra, Montana, but I'm going to put it off just a little bit more for this trip. And you can see, this is part of the reason why I love getting out. You can see how beautiful nature is. This is a waterfall that I found hiking out here, and I decided to do my intro here. But gorgeous, gorgeous area. Super, super beautiful getting up here and getting out into the wild. And interesting to see, you know, hopefully I can find Tyler. I'm actually not certain because he's already out here looking somewhere, and I'm not certain I'm going to be able to find him. Hopefully I can. But regardless, I'm going to find some more morels today. This is very, very close to the area that I was just at in my last video. But anyway, let's see what I can find. Tyler, I feel like I know you really well.
Well, dude, you too. I really admire the work that you do. It's very educational. And you oppose that idea that we don't share information, which is not true.
Yeah. That's
a misnomer. The only people saying that don't want you to find what they think are their spots, but no one owns the mountains.
Yeah, exactly. And the truth is that the only places that are really in danger, if they are really in danger, are the ones that everybody goes to, like at the mouth of Grotto Canyon.
Yeah.
But nobody realizes you can come up and spread out here, and they're everywhere.
Well, and I would argue more about size than location. It's okay to harvest a location a lot. Just wait till they're big enough that you see the discoloration of the release of their spores, the oxidation of their spores. Most morels will darken as they release their spores.
Yeah.
They're going to be over 2 inches and start to get crispy or soggy, and at that point, it's okay to harvest them. I think based on our conversation a minute ago, we determined that, you know, it's a lot more ethical to harvest them later in the season than it is to harvest them earlier in the season if they're small, because later in the season they're dry, crispy, and soggy.
Yep.
These would have rotted if we hadn't harvested them.
Okay,
no one would have found them.
I'm going to take clips of this and put in because this is really good information. Look at these awesome morels, and they are going a little bit dry. And because they're going dry, it makes them 100% acceptable to harvest. And they're all these are bigger than 2 inches, and even this smaller one that's not bigger than 2 inches, that one there,
dark.
Yeah, it's dark.
On the ridges where it releases the spores.
And just feeling it, you can tell it's done growing.
But this is almost perfect ripeness. This one right here, on a scale from 1 to 10, 5 being perfect ripeness, I would call this a 6. Where the rest of these are like an 8 or 9, they're getting up there. So I'm going to dehydrate the rest of these, but this big one is perfect to fry. Or you could freeze it submerged in water, dehydrate it later, and it's perfect.
It started to rain here just a little bit, so Tyler put some rain gear on. I'm probably going to put some on here in just a second as well, but Tyler was just asking me a little bit about what I know of this area and so forth. So I thought we'd just talk about it just a little bit. And I'm inviting Aimee. You know, Aimee, she is the president of the Mushroom Society of Utah, which is incredible. So she's heavily involved in the mushroom committee as well. And so this is kind of fun. This is kind of fun. We've got some mushroom, especially morel gurus right here.
It's a good group today, for sure.
It's a good group, and so we're going to do some fun stuff today. But you had asked me a little bit about what I'd learned, and so what I've learned from this area yesterday, because I was here in this general area yesterday looking with some people, and And I've found some areas that were north facing, under pines, pretty steep slope.
Which is kind of where we are here, almost north to east facing.
Yeah, this is kind of a pretty steep north facing slope. So maybe that's even a slightly more east facing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, more east over there.
But I was finding they're drying out quite a bit.
Yeah.
But there were some massive ones coming up that were absolutely wonderful. And then I got over here to this side over here, which I thought was a little bit more east facing.
Yeah.
And there was a lot more smaller ones, but they're all very mature and dried out. Right at the end of the season is what I'm seeing up here.
Yeah.
And one thing that I really learned is this place is a super amazing location. And there are so many people who come up this canyon. There's certain areas that they look, and they have no idea there are so many more morels. If
It
they just
branches like crazy, like a vine. When we map it out at the end of this year, when we're done with our data, going up the canyon, it literally looks like a tree, like vines with branching, leaves and twigs and stuff. It's amazing. There's a bunch of micro communities. Right here, Aimee and I circled the area that we just collected it. Didn't find any more, but right here we found a bunch. Probably over a pound in like 15 minutes. Really, really quick. Yeah.
So I think that people who are watching this video who want to get out and find morels, I think it's important for you to understand that there are areas that are heavily hunted, but there's probably 98% of the state that where morels exist don't get hunted.
I agree. I would say something really close to that. Like 90% of the morels that grow in Utah, human beings never even see them.
Yeah, and I've learned that. I this year alone, I've probably, and I think your number's probably higher than mine, but me, all by myself this year, I've found probably close to 1,500 morels.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Yeah, but the thing is they're
past a lot more too.
Yeah. Yeah. If I could have some kind of a meter counting the morels that I miss.
iNaturalist. Oh, the ones you miss. Yeah. That keeps me up at night. I think about how many leaves I could have just turned over and found. Like we were about to walk by that one right there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we were just talking right here, stopped in a spot, and we didn't pick this spot because of we knew there was mushrooms right here, but Aimee found one literally right there, right by her foot.
While we were talking. And there's
So-
something that Wanda Bates told me, that she hunts this area a lot with her husband, Bill, and they pretty much zigzag across the exact same spots because at different angles you can find morels you pass very easily. Especially if you have kids who can see at lower angles than us tall adults do.
That is so true. Even yesterday, we were along a little creek, and we found this flush of them, and a whole bunch of them, maybe 60 of them in this particular area. And we thought we had hunted that area out, and we dropped around and got to the other side of the creek, and we looked back up right where we were, and we saw a whole bunch, like
cool.
another 30 or so.
Yeah, Wanda said she was up here recently and tripped and fell and went down to this mat on the ground, this layer of pine needles, right? And noticed that it was slightly elevated, pulled it back, and there were like 30 morels completely just buried underneath this top layer of pines. And just so that everybody knows, it doesn't grow out of that, it grows from underneath it in the mineral layer and pushes that layer up. It grows under that layer. Cool.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get looking. Anything else you want to tell people while we're right here? Maybe we should do another quick review of conservation. What's the best, our good practices for morel conservation?
Wait till they're dry or crispy, or at least over 2 inches if they're morel mushrooms. Look for discoloration so that you can say with high degree of confidence that they've released their spores. And then also, if you take material and you save it either in the freezer or even dehydrate it, and then later you combine that material like multi-morels or even mycelium, you combine it with water and some molasses, you can, after a couple of hours of just sitting there soaking, you can have yourself a slurry. And so you can go back out into nature and re-inoculate the places that you harvest, or even new places, but only do that with native species. Don't bring external morels, because then we get pathogen problems, but you can increase the populations next year based on how you harvest this year. If you find baby morels, like we did in our previous video, hide them. Let them develop and release their spores. I went back, and those were huge, the ones that we hid.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were bigger, a lot bigger.
I did a walk by at one point just to check on some of them,
Nice.
and left everything.
Yeah.
But it's fun watching those as they grow.
Yeah, it's worth doing. And once you find a spot, take care of that spot. Don't freak out that you're going to miss out by not harvesting them. They'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Aimee, what's your experience been like this year? Has this been a banner year for you too?
This has been a great year for me. Yeah, every place that I've looked, I've found them. I think just
That's so cool.
it really does come down to habitat, just knowing
Yeah.
the temperatures, the trees, all that kind of stuff. I've had a great year for morels.
For me, even 3 or 4 years ago, I'd go out morel hunting, and I'd probably go out 5 times and maybe find morels 1 or 2 times. But this year, I haven't missed.
Yeah.
Every single time I've gone
Seems
out,
like
I've
it.
found them.
You got a lot of videos this year, man. That's how I know you've been out a lot with a lot of success.
It's been a crazy fun year for me this year.
Right?
Yeah, well, you brought a lot of people out and taught them as well, and I really appreciate that because we're not being detrimental to the species. I think that if you love something, that you will try to learn everything that you can about it. And you can take care of these mushrooms. You can help them grow, and you can encourage other people to be more sustainable and hike out garbage. Aimee was collecting garbage. That's something we want to do more. Is everybody who goes mushroom hunting, you need to bring a bag and take garbage with you. You're out here in the bushes where no one else is, and you can clean the mountains. You're here anyways. Just do it. It's not that heavy.
And the iNaturalist app.
Yes,
let's
use
talk about that.
iNaturalist to document every single morel you see, save it as obscured, and then select at least the Morchella genus, and that will tag it for people like me and other people to be able to go in and say what species it is.
Okay, so that's something I can do better because I've been taking these pictures.
Yeah.
And I haven't been tagging them because I haven't been 100% sure which specific type of morel
It's okay
it was.
if you guess
You
wrong.
can do the genus. Yeah, you don't have to go all the way down to species.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even just say it's fungi.
And even if you guess the species wrong, that's okay. Other people will correct you, and that's a part of how all of us learn. And I get stuff wrong all the time.
Okay.
You know, and so do other people. And collaboratively, we get more accurate identifications than any of us could by ourselves.
Okay. And we'll show you guys, all you that are watching this, we're going to show you again how to actually log a mushroom on iNatural. Because when you do that, you can really help with the conservation of morels. There are a lot of scientists out there all across the world trying to figure out how to best preserve these. And Tyler, he's probably the top morel. In fact, he's the top morel mycologist here in the state of Utah.
Big compliment.
And no, without question, on his way to becoming the top in the state. And I even consider him one of the top morel mycologists in the country. And
I really appreciate you saying that. That's a huge compliment, Blaine. Thank you.
Well, it's true because of the research that you're doing and the effort that you're putting in to really help us conserve.
People like you contribute a lot by doing things like recording this video and sharing it, because the data collected by the citizen scientists that I've included has already exceeded my own data collection. And that's amazing. People like you are contributing more than me now.
Well, thank you. And all of you that are watching can contribute by recording these morel mushrooms that you're finding. And something else that I want to talk about, Tyler just recently, 'cause a lot of people are wanting help to find these morels. He recently did say, hey, you know what? At a cost, you can come out and hunt some mushrooms, but I want to clarify something here, okay? And a lot of you have gotten super angry at him, and I had my own conversation with him, and now I'm understanding what he's doing here. He's not taking this cash and pocketing it. That is not at all what he's doing. This money, this is actually a contribution back to his research to make it so that he can do more and more with it.
It's because I ran out of funding in the university at a federal level, and now I self-finance my own research, which is gas and equipment, and now we're talking about getting walkie-talkies and electronic bikes so that we can go out as groups through the Mushroom Society of Utah, and specifically with citizen scientists, our research colleagues, and our research mentors, which are multiple professors at Utah Valley University. And we take this very seriously. We put a lot of time and money over the years, not just federal money, but personal money in the form of gas, time away from our families, and it is a big sacrifice. And by the way, we get permits for everything that we do, and through the BLM, Forest Service, and Department of Agriculture, so that we are legitimate, and we let the rangers know that we're in the area, and we harvest sustainably. We create slurries, and we educate people on when to harvest so they're not detrimental to the species. We're not pillaging. In fact, we're very careful to make sure that that doesn't happen by not harvesting underripe things, not taking every morel, being quick in areas and moving on, and being more explorative than harvesting every single morel as an objective. That's not our objective.
So if you do choose to contribute and to go on a hunt with him and contribute funds there, look at it more as like a donation towards science. And he will educate you. If you go out with him, he's going to educate you on how to harvest morels to help our morel populations in general. And this is not about pillaging. I mean, I've already shared with him many of my spots because I completely trust him. He's going to go out.
Same here. Every time we hang out, we're taking each other to new spots. Like that's not even a thing, because we should be a good community and we're more successful that way, I think, you know?
That's correct.
You could join the project on iNaturalist. It's called Mysteries of the Marcella, and it's an open access. As long as you're willing to contribute data to the project, data will be shared with you on the project. No one can see the private locations except for the administrators, which are specifically me and my research mentor, Dr. Stevens, so that we can protect and map out the data for our publications. But yeah, 99% of the people we bring out is for free, and the only reason we offer that other option is for people who specifically do not want to participate in the research, but we're completely official with our permits and everything like that. So
Okay.
people don't need to be afraid that we're decimating the habitats. That's not what we've seen from our data. The populations are getting bigger every year from what we've seen in our data.
And the truth is, if we do share a location with a handful of people, they can go and they can hunt, and especially if they're abiding by these, I guess you could call them rules, where protocols. There we go. Where you don't pick them until they're 2 inches or they're dried out.
Yeah.
As long as everybody's doing that, then we're not going to hurt the population at all. If anything, it'll only help grow. Like Tyler just said, he sees that population is actually growing in our community.
In every location, greater than the increase in that weather, and I think it's because of how we're harvesting, because the education is becoming more spread and prominent on how to properly harvest. And if you notice in the groups, that's a big topic of discussion for new people. They want to know the right way to do things because they're eager to learn how to do it in a non-harmful way. I think that says a lot. The mushroom community is pretty cool overall. Yeah, a few bad mushrooms, but most are good.
Okay, so Mysteries of Morcellum.
Yes, Mysteries of the Morcella.
Mysteries of the Morcella. So how do they find that group?
Just get onto iNaturalist and search it under projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when it pops up, there'll be an option for them to just join it.
Right, and then so you can join the project. You'll be able to see the observations of all the people in the project. We include observations of people outside of the project. We share our obscure data, which means that you can see the region that someone went to, but not the exact spot. You know, someone can see that we were up in this particular canyon, but it's a giant canyon. I've been exploring it for 5 years and probably have explored only maybe half of it.
Yeah, and that's
a big canyon.
And that's the way I am too. In fact, I haven't even explored a half of it. I've probably explored 10% of it, if not 5% of it. And there's just looking at, I get on the Google Earth all the time to look for spots.
Yeah.
And there are so many spots
endless
in this area that we could explore.
Off-grid. Some are like it's impossible to get over there without being on foot. This whole entire mountain range is inaccessible, but there's a lot of morels over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the path untraveled.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of fun, guys. It's an awesome hobby to have. It'll keep you healthy. Mushrooms are super yummy to eat. Enjoy nature.
Yeah.
Enjoy these gifts from God. And at the end of the day, if we all are responsible, we can really make this a resource that our children can enjoy, and we can all just really appreciate what we have in nature here in Utah. I personally believe that here in Utah, we are blessed with an amazing mushroom population that people don't even realize we have here.
Yeah, the king porcini being our state mushroom is just so amazing. Go, man, MSU.
Yeah.
Are you the one who made that happen?
Not me personally, but MSU did.
MSU did.
Through legislation last year, Boletus edulis, the king porcini, is a Utah state mushroom officially. We get big, giant ones in the Uintas. And if you want to find them, join the Mushroom Society of Utah and go to the fall foray. It's the main focus of the forays every year. We go out and collect a ton of mushrooms, but that one's like a guarantee. We find it every year.
And that's a fun hunt to go on. And, and Aimee, can you take a little bit of time right here and just tell us about the Mushroom Society of Utah? What does it do? Yeah. And why is it important here in the state? And if people want to participate in it, how does that happen?
Yeah, well, the Mushroom Society of Utah, we're a nonprofit organization here just focused on education and enjoyment of fungi and nature in general. We do forays. Obviously, we take people out and go hunting for mushrooms. We also do lectures. We have people in the fungal community come in and tell us about what they're studying or what they're specializing in. Tyler came and did a talk for us this winter, so stuff like that. We do classes. We do art workshops. It's really it's volunteer run, community oriented, and so whatever skills are present in the society, we highlight, and we just enjoy mushrooms together. So if people want to get involved, want to go on forays or come to the fall foray like Tyler was saying, our website is utahmushrooms.org. You can come and join. It's $25 for a year for your household. We do a lot of really cool, fun stuff. And we just love mushrooms. That's really that's it. We just love mushrooms. If you love mushrooms, join us. You can come talk about mushrooms and no one will think you're weird. That's our main thing.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate what you're doing too.
Yeah.
And the way that you're advocating for mushroom hunting and also like being careful about. A lot of people have questions about what mushrooms to eat, which mushrooms are poisonous. If you come into these forays, are they going to learn about that?
Yeah. So our the members of our board and some of our foray leaders, very strong identifiers. We have a project on iNaturalist as well. It's called the Northern Utah Funga Project. And when people in Utah upload their mushrooms, not just morels, but anything else, and they add it to our project, then that's a way for us to make sure that people in Utah, and especially people in our society, they're more likely to get an identification there because we monitor that. So we can give identifications for all sorts of mushrooms, those little mushrooms that people are not seeing online because they're not the fancy culinary ones, but they still want to know what it is. So we, all of us who are in it, we're in it for real. Like all we do is sit around and study mushroom identification. So people who come on our forays, a big part of that is showing people how to observe a mushroom, how to observe its, morphology, what to look for in order to get an idea of where you're going with your identification. Of course, there are so many mushrooms out there. You're not going to memorize all of them, but ways to pick up a mushroom that you don't recognize and say, okay, here are the things that I notice. So you know what to do from that point on to be able to identify mushrooms. And there are a lot more mushrooms that are edible than a lot of people think in Utah. And there are a lot more mushrooms that just exist in Utah and that are really cool to look at and people really focus on. So I think one of the beautiful things about going on on forays is participants are always like, I never realized how many different mushrooms there are or how many mushrooms there are out here. And they're fascinated even by the little agrosopy, even though they can't take it home to eat, it's still so cool to find. It's such a beautiful way to connect with nature.
Yeah.
Well
wonderful. Well, we really, really appreciate what you guys are doing for the this mushroom society. For the state of Utah, all of us mushroom hunters that are out there. You're doing good things, and so I'd encourage you to a couple things here. A couple things that all you that are watching can do here. So, number one, download iNaturalist and go and join the project of Mysteries of the Morchella, and start documenting those. Obscure them. So there's going to be an option in there where you can obscure them so that you're not sharing the locations with the whole world. And that's 100% okay, and we encourage that. But that'll add to the research that's being done here. In fact, I think Tyler was just saying that this area that we're in right now needs a lot more documentation. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is one of the most undocumented areas in Utah, which is interesting because it's also one of the most documented areas in Utah, but it's just so big that there are huge regions of it where there are absolutely zero observations because it's physically difficult to get there, because you're talking about a 2-mile hike in and a 2-mile hike out, and that's pretty physically demanding. So if there are any hardcore outdoor people who love going on crazy missions and explorations and expeditions, please hit us up. We're always looking for you. But I would really like to advocate and suggest membership in the Mushroom Society of Utah. The reason I involve myself with them is because of how educationally focused they are. Aimee's literally an 8th grade teacher. Super cool. And then they're very active. They're a very tight community, very supportive, and just so enabling of each other to learn more about this for the sake of safety, fascination, how to take care of nature, nutrition, health, prevention of toxicity, it just goes on. We have people who focus on composting and making mushroom art, and just, it's a very dynamic and interesting community, and I would highly recommend that you check them out. You may realize that you've always been a part of that community.
Awesome, yeah. So Tyler took care of that second part I was going to get to. But yeah, I definitely recommend you get involved with the Mushroom Society of Utah. And again, what's the website that they need to go to join?
It's utahmushrooms.org.
And when is your next foray?
We have, so throughout June, July, and August, we do forays all over the place. So whenever our leaders are willing to lead. So I think what day is it today? The 8th? Probably. Yeah.
Is there a
There's
schedule?
a couple on there. Yeah.
Today's
So
the 9th,
when you join, you can see the schedule, the dates, all that kind of stuff. So as of right now, our forays for June are booked out, but we'll post more for the month. And then July and August, we usually have more leaders. So we'll have forays all throughout June, July, and August. And then at the end of August, August 23rd through 25th is our fall foray. So it's a weekend camp out where we do lectures, workshops, we go up and do forays. We all go out on forays. We all bring back the mushrooms we find. We have a huge table talk where
That's
we
the
can
event of the year, dude.
It's so cool.
That is the one, if you go to one event in the year, go to the Mushroom Society of Utah Fall Foray. It's a blast. We have a camp out. Usually it's in Camas or somewhere in the mountains. And we go off into different groups, into different canyons, and we find amazing fungi. We have a rasula that tastes like shrimp here, and like no one knows about it. Really shrimpy. But you'll have an amazing experience. I promise you. There are very few people who are like, this isn't for me. So check it out, and it's such a tight community. You will really enjoy it. I encourage you to come to the Fall Foray this year. I'll probably host a foray for you guys.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah.
And that, by the way, that foray can be so educational for you.
Yeah.
Tyler and I, and you probably do too, Aimee, we all get so many requests from people that are asking to go out and show them how to learn mushrooms and show them where to find mushrooms. We're getting these requests all the time, and we do. We try to help people as much as we can. You've seen my videos. I take people out with me here and there.
That's all volunteer work, by the way, for each of us.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all.
Don't get mad at us when they
But if you come to one of these forays, especially one like that fall foray, you can learn so much and understand where to find these mushrooms, and really, it'll really put you ahead in years in terms of your mushroom finding experience by going to these.
I agree.
All right. Well, I say let's get finding some morels. Is that all right?
Woo! Let's go.
You guys have already found some. I'm anxious to find some too. So.
All right, let's get going. Thank you, Blaine.
With him and the research that he's doing, you can actually contribute and help him with his research by downloading iNaturalist and documenting the mushrooms that you're finding. And there's a way to do that to keep the locations hidden from the general public and still help him in his research. So he's going to show you how to do that here.
All right, so we found a patch of Morchella brunier. We're going to press the plus button in our iNaturalist app and go to take a picture. Then we're going to come over to our specimen here, get as close of an angle as we can without losing focus, and tap the screen so that your camera will focus in on the specimen. Take a picture, try to hold as still as you possibly can, and that provides a clear image which biologists can use to identify your organism. So if you want to be really thorough, after you set your morel mushroom observation to private or obscured, go click another picture plus icon in the top left. It may be different based on your device. And what we're going to do is cut this morel in half so we can see the internal anatomy. I'm going to face it both ways because that's ideal. Usually I'll use a measuring device instead of just my knife. But showing scale of size can be very helpful. It's hard to infer that from an image. Orient your image upward, press OK. Sometimes it'll have a little error if you don't do that. And then click the plus sign, and it's uploading your observation.
And that's all you got to do?
That's all you have to do to contribute to scientific research around the world, and all of the biologists will thank you.
All right, so I've been doing really bad at documenting the morels that we've been finding with video for this. So we found a handful of them already that we haven't, I haven't videoed. Oh yeah. There's some right over here too. So here's here's some that we've just come across. Aimee found these ones right over here.
Good job. Those are fat.
Yeah.
Those are as big as your hand.
Yeah. There's probably more around there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so we'll keep looking. So we're going to go ahead and call it a day. You know, we've been hunting around quite a bit. We didn't find as many today as we found yesterday, but we've ended up with maybe 30 morels. And
We got out here pretty late though.
yeah, we did. We got out here
Yeah.
kind of late. And you're thinking maybe 3.5, 4 pounds?
I would probably guess 1.5 to 2 pounds.
Oh, 1.5 to 2 pounds.
Yeah,
Okay.
between about 30 morels. A lot of them are really big.
Yeah.
Big fat morels. Yeah, we got here later in the day, and it's highly exploratory, this area. And the brush, if you poke them around, like it's the thickest brush, so it's really easy to. All of them we found were just, we barely saw them at a weird angle. Almost walked right by them. Yeah.
And we're kind of getting hounded by mosquitoes right now.
Yeah. They're swarming us.
There's a lot of-
actually.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see them in the video or not, but yeah, they're flying all around us, and so we're going to go ahead and call it a day. There's probably maybe 45 minutes of light left, and I think we're done. But anyway, it was a lot of fun getting out of here. We actually were traversing some pretty crazy terrain, trying to get to different areas where there was not a lot of research been done on these morels, and so that's the reason why we're kind of forging some treacherous terrain. I should have taken some video of it, but Tyler here, he was like going down the river, and there was probably 60 feet of wall here on this side, and on the other side there's another 60 feet ledge in some areas, and we were kind of up above, and it was crazy. I was worried something was going to happen to one of
He
us.
was barefoot.
Oh
too.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
Much
he was
safer.
barefoot.
Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, but and that was us trying to get down to a couple different areas, and we found we did find some pretty good morels here and there
Yeah.
as we were looking around. So it was a lot of fun. But this is part of the research, and this is part of what he's doing. He's trying to map different areas, and so if you guys get out into some crazy areas, it's super helpful if you use iNaturalist to log your finds out there. So anyway, thanks again for watching this episode of Utah Mushroom Hunter, and we want to thank you both for coming out with me today.
Oh man, thank you guys.
Tyler invited me. He actually reached out and said, hey, you want to come on this thing, so thank you for doing that.
It was spontaneous, and this is a hard hunt, hard terrain. I appreciate you guys being here, collecting data, and helping with our research project. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and Aimee, thank you so much for coming. Yeah, it was great hanging out with you guys today. All right, so we will see you guys in the next adventure. All right, here's a little bonus. I've already said goodbye to Tyler and Aimee, and just drove over to a little bit different area, and I just found one right here. A little bit dry, but a good little morel. And there's another one. Woohoo! I'm finding them. And there's another one I just found. Look how beautiful that one is. Another fun one. And look at this one right over here. Here's what those 4 look like that I just found. Those are all super fun. Nice little bonus after the hunt with Tyler. All right, little bonus material for you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.